Hello and welcome friends. I am Shubhodeep Roy. I'm working as a technical team lead with ICMS project Gurgaon and have been associated with IBM India for more than 4 years. Today I will be walking you through ALDON Cms, one of the most powerful configuration management tools which are available on the IBM System I, or as we commonly know, the AS400 platform. The training has been divided into 4 parts. Let's begin with part 1. In part 1, I will only be covering theoretical topics. We'll take up the practicals or hand-on exercises starting from part 2 onwards. So first of all, I'll give a brief introduction about ALDON, and then I'll introduce you to various ALDON terminologies like applications and releases, environments, ALDON setup, developers, users and user classes. ALDON was founded in 1979 by Albert Magid and Don Parr. So as you can see, the company name has been derived from the first names of the founders. ALDON CMS, a software change management system for the traditional I-series development, was released in 1990. ALDON CMS has since been renamed ALDON Lifecycle Manager. ALDON is a very important and efficient tool for managing the software development and implementation process of a product. We'll begin with applications and releases. What are applications? Related objects are defined as an application. For example, one application may contain objects required for managing the personnel and human resources operations. Another may contain objects used to manage manufacturing operations. Then what are releases? An application can in turn have a single or multiple releases. If there is a single release for an application, production objects are replaced as soon as new copies are fully tested. There could be multiple releases within an application which could be used for development of various phases or modules of a product. If there are multiple releases for an application, changed objects accumulate in a new set of libraries as work on them is completed. When development of a release is complete, you can lock the release to prevent further modification of production objects. What are the various environments we are having in ALDON? First, we have the development environment. This development environment is used by the developers for the creation of new objects and for the maintenance of existing ones. This environment can also be used to test their changes. And this is the only environment in which source can be changed. The integration environment. This is an optional environment and it is used when multiple developers want to test their changes together. Source members cannot be changed in this environment. They must be checked out into the development environment for further modification if failures occur during integration testing. The quality assurance environment. This again is an optional environment and is used for final testing by quality assurance personnel or for user acceptance testing. Its contents are typically controlled by a quality assurance librarian. Source members cannot be changed even in the quality assurance environment. So they must be checked out into the development environment to be fixed if failures occur during the quality assurance testing. The production environment. The production environment within a release can consist of up to 23 libraries, each of which can contain source and objects. Objects end up in the production environment after passing through the testing environments. The production environment can contain a full set of source and objects, or it can consist of only objects and source that have been changed for a release. If the production environment of a release consists of only changed objects, it is combined with the production environments of prior releases to form a working version of the application. The archive environment. This is also an optional environment, and it receives copies of old objects as new copies are moved into the production environment. A user with restore from archive and perform checkout or perform emergency checkout authority can restore copies of old objects from the archive to development. Now I'll talk about the ALDON setup. ALDON provides various levels where setup options can be defined. At the top we have the global level. Now settings at each level govern ACMS functioning within the scope implied by the name of the level. For example, global settings govern actions throughout ACMS except where superseded by application, release or job level settings. For an instance, application level settings and defaults only affect the functioning of ACMS for the releases of a single application and for jobs relating to those releases. Release level settings only affect ACMS functioning for that particular release and jobs relating to that release, whereas job level settings only affect that particular action. Developers. What are developers? In ALDON, when a user wants to modify an object, they check it out to a developer. A developer is an ACMS construct that associates a developer name chosen by the user with a System I user profile and libraries to contain source and objects. You must define developers and an environment for each developer at the global level. It is possible to use a single developer definition for more than one person. With such an arrangement, several people may check out objects to the same library depending on whether they are working in the same release or application and whether distinct application or release level developer environments have been defined. Users and user classes. User definitions control which ALDON functions a user may access. You must create a global definition for each ALDON user by specifying a unique list of authority values or by assigning the user to a user class definition. User class definitions simplify the work of assigning similar authorities to a group of users. User class definitions are identical to user definitions but have an ampersand as the first character of the name. Each user class definition specifies a list of user authorities. ALDON comes with several predefined user classes. To summarize, the following have been discussed so far. ALDON terminologies like applications and releases, various ALDON environments like the development, integration, quality assurance, production and archive environments. Out of these, integration and quality assurance are optional, and archive is also an optional environment which is defined at the application level. Then we discussed about ALDON setup and the various levels where ALDON setup options can be defined. Like we have the global level, application level, release level and individual job level. Further, we discussed about developers, users and user classes. Well folks, that brings us to the end of part 1. If you have any queries, you may contact me through email or same time using my email ID mentioned on the screen. Thank you.